Imagine this for a second. A whole city goes dark. Not a storm. Nope. It's a hacker. Someone who slipped completely unseen into the power grid's controls. Or think about a hospital. Life support machines just stop because someone messed with their internal code. Or maybe a space probe millions of miles away suddenly goes rogue. All from a tiny hidden command. What if the biggest threats aren't your laptop or your phone? What if they're hiding in plain sight in the systems running, well, pretty much everything? The hidden threats we just don't think about. This is the deep dive. And today, yeah, we're pulling back that curtain. If you're after those insights that make the difference, the stuff that could actually help secure a network, maybe even boost your career in tech, then definitely subscribe, like, share this deep dive. You really don't want to miss understanding how technology, security, and your future all kind of connect.
Exactly. Today we're diving deep, really deep, into embedded operating systems. Our mission, if you will, is to figure out what these hidden systems actually are, where they live, what makes them vulnerable, and, most importantly, what we can actually do to protect them. This isn't just theory. It's about getting you the skills to spot network security weaknesses and, well, lock them down using the latest network defense techniques. Seriously cutting-edge stuff.
Okay, so operating systems. Most people hear that and think, Windows, Mac OS, maybe Linux on their computer, stuff we click on every day. But this material, it talks about something else entirely, the embedded OS. So what makes an OS embedded, and why call it a hidden threat? That sounds pretty serious.
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? An embedded system is basically any computer system that isn't your regular PC or server. Think of it like a specialized computer built for one specific job. Its operating system might be tiny, or maybe a stripped-down version of something bigger. They're hidden because, well, they're usually tucked inside another device, doing their job without a screen or keyboard you'd normally see.
Oh, okay.
And the threat part, that comes from them being hidden. Often installed and then forgotten. They don't get updated. They're not checked. They become these blind spots.
Right. Easy targets then.
Exactly. Attackers know this.
So we're talking way beyond our computer screens. It sounds like they could be anywhere. Give us some examples. Where would we find these things?
Oh, they are absolutely everywhere. Seriously, just look around any building. You've got firewalls, switches, routers, managing all the network traffic, web filtering appliances in offices, even programmable thermostats in your house. Controllers in your smart fridge or washing machine.
Yeah.
And then the really critical stuff, like systems on the Mars rovers or the James Webb Space Telescope, they perform vital functions. And the text is clear. We absolutely cannot ignore their security. They're becoming very attractive targets, which ties right back into understanding network security, learning how to spot these vulnerabilities everywhere.
It's pretty mind-blowing how widespread they are. And the OS is powering them. It sounds like there's a whole zoo of them, not just like tiny Windows versions. You mentioned Windows IoT, but what about the really specialized ones? Can you walk us through some of the main players?
Absolutely. And that diversity is key to the security challenge. Developers often reuse code, which saves time, but can spread risks.
Yeah,
you have Windows CE and the more powerful Windows 10 IoT. That one's interesting because it has the full Windows API, kind of like your desktop. You can even run vulnerability scanners right on the device itself sometimes.
Okay, so familiar territory, but maybe a bigger target.
Potentially, yeah. Bigger attack surface.
And those really specialized ones, like for space, that sounds completely different.
It really is. Take VxWorks. It's a real-time OS built for speed and efficiency on minimal hardware. Super critical for things that need to react instantly. And its history is amazing. Clementine spacecraft, Deep Impact, the Mars rovers, Spirit and Opportunity, even the James Webb Telescope uses it. The challenge there is often, how do you patch something that's millions of miles away or controlling a critical process? It's not easy. Then you have proprietary ones like Green Hill Software stuff, or QNX Cisco uses that, Logitech too, very robust. And Mills, that's multiple independent levels of security. Super specialized, it lets different security levels run on the same chip without leaking info. Crucial for military or intelligence applications.
Okay, that sounds complex.
It is. Verifying security is tough. And then on the open source side, you've got RTEMS, also used in space, and lots of custom Linux versions in industrial gear, medical devices, you name it. Understanding this variety, knowing their weaknesses, how to use the right hacking tools for each one, that's fundamental knowledge for anyone going into security or IT.
Okay, so they're everywhere, running everything, using this huge range of operating systems. But what makes them such good targets? Why are attacks becoming, as the book says, more serious? Is it just because they're always on?
That's definitely a big part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's deeper than that. Think about why hackers hack today. Usually it's money, right? Or maybe political disruption, spying. Embedded systems might not have that old Y2K bug, but they are absolutely under attack now. A key issue is, like you said, they're always on, and they do a specific job. This makes them incredibly hard to patch. You can't just decide to reboot a nation's power grid controller for a quick update, can you?
Uh-huh. No, I guess not.
Or a ventilator in an ICU. The downtime, the risk, it's often just too high.
Right.
So security teams have this constant battle.
Right.
Weigh the cost of taking something offline versus the risk of leaving a known vulnerability open. It forces you to think about security from day one.
That makes sense. So if they're hard to patch and they're connected to networks, what are the really worrying attack points? What should ethical hackers be looking for?
Good question. That network connection is a double-edged sword. Huge benefits, but huge exposure.
Yeah.
Networking gear itself is a prime target. Routers, switches. If a hacker gets control of your router, they basically own your network. They can see everything, redirect anything.
Oof. Okay.
Then there are the things people forget. Network peripherals, MFDs, the big printer, scanner, copier machines.
Ah, the office copier.
Exactly. Nobody thinks to scan them for vulnerabilities. They often have default passwords, old software.
Yeah.
They're like an unlocked backdoor into the networks. Really attractive targets. And mobile devices, too, of course. Phones, tablets. Trojan apps sneaking into app stores are a huge problem.
Yeah.
Stealing data, taking control.
And what about really sneaky stuff like rootkits? How do they fit in?
Oh, rootkits are, they're particularly nasty. They dig deep into the OS itself. They modify core parts, install themselves as kernel modules or drivers. Makes them incredibly hard to find, especially if the system's already compromised. They just hide there. The text even mentions LoJack for laptops, the anti-theft thing. Having design flaws that rootkits could actually exploit, it just highlights how vital it is to recognize these kinds of vulnerabilities. That's a core skill. And then we absolutely have to talk about SCADA systems, supervisory control and data acquisition.
Right, the critical infrastructure stuff.
Exactly. Power plants, water treatment, manufacturing. If someone compromises those, it's not just about losing data. It can cause actual physical damage, real-world chaos.
Okay, this is where ethical hacking and network defense really earns its keep, right? Understanding the attack methods so you can build better defenses. So for our listeners, especially students or people starting out in IT, MIS, CIS, what are the practical steps? What can you actually do to protect these often invisible systems? How do we go from knowing the threat to actually stopping it?
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? Shifting from just seeing the problem to actively fixing it. Like you said, it's about thinking like the attacker to become a better defender.
Yeah.
That's a huge focus in courses like the Ethical Hacking and Network Defense one at Tarleton State, preparing people to be proactive, not just reactive.
Okay, give us the practical playbook. What are the steps?
All right. First, and this is huge, identification and prioritization. You absolutely cannot protect what you don't know exists. So find all your embedded systems in your company, even at home, and figure out which ones are most critical, which ones would cause the most damage if compromised. That links right back to recognizing vulnerabilities.
Makes sense. Know your assets.
Second, least privilege. Always.
Yeah.
Only give systems and users the absolute minimum access they need to do their job, no more. Third, encrypt data in transit. Whenever these systems talk to each other, especially over networks, try to encrypt that communication. Fourth, secure configuration. Don't just plug things in and use the default settings. Follow the manufacturer's hardening guides. Defaults are hacker invitations. Fifth, think about cryptographic measures for booting, like using a TPM, a trusted platform module. Especially if physical access is hard or data, integrity is paramount. It helps ensure the system hasn't been tampered with from the moment it powers on.
Right, building trust from the hardware up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sixth, patch and update.
Yeah.
When you can. This one's tricky because of the downtime issue we talked about.
Right.
It needs careful planning. But if you can patch, you should. This means using current security software, staying informed. Seventh, restrict network access. Only allow connections from specific necessary IP addresses. And reduce the attack surface. Turn off any services or ports the device doesn't actually need. Less exposure is better.
Lock it down.
Pretty much. And finally, sometimes, you just have to upgrade or replace the thing. If a system is too old, too risky, and can't be fixed, you need to be prepared to retire it. All these steps, they involve practical skills, using security tools, doing penetration testing, understanding security reports, all essential stuff for IT careers.
So let's bring it all together. What's the big picture here for you listening? We've seen the world is just packed with these hidden, often quite vulnerable embedded systems. They're in our homes, our workplaces, critical infrastructure, even exploring space. They run silently, easy to forget. But If they get compromised, the consequences can be huge financial, political, even physical harm. It's a massive, often invisible attack surface.
Yeah, and just like that scenario we opened with, the threat is definitely real,
Yeah.
but, so is the opportunity. There's a huge need for skilled people who understand this stuff. By getting inside the workings of these systems, learning their weak points, you go from being just a user to being part of the defense. A guardian, really. That kind of thinking, those practical skills, that's what builds great careers in this field.
Well said. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the hidden world of embedded systems. If you found this useful, if you want more insights like this to help shape your own path in tech, please do like, subscribe, and share this deep dive. So as you look around right now, think about it. What embedded systems near you might be vulnerable? At home, at work? And how can what you've learned today about ethical hacking maybe help protect them?
Think like a hacker, act like a guardian.
Until next time, keep your systems and your ethics strong.